My wallet always has a note in it for good luck. But that day I had just taken off in the airliner when we ran into a flock of birds. The engines instantly caught fire and went dead. Even worse, both engines completely fade. At that moment I had no idea what was wrong with the ends. I only felt the thrust drop sharply. Remove from here on out would determine the lives of 155 pan. I tried to restart, but there was no response. Then the cabin lost all power. I didn't hesitate to engage the auxiliary power U. The cabin systems came back on for it. The flight attendants signaled everyone to stay calm. Most people thought it was just Tertius, but they had no idea. We were racing against death in the COP. I called the tower for help. They ordered all planes to ground immediately, clear the runway and assist us in return. But I knew in my heart at this altitude we couldn't make it back, and my 42 years of flying told me our only option was to ditch in the Hudson River. After saying this, the tower lost sig. The dispatcher kept calling me over and over. The nearest airport was only 11 kilometers away, but we had no power to respond. I was close to breaking down because the success rate for a water landing was under 1%. The plane kept closing in on the water, and I had to stay calm and decisive with full coordination from the first offer. I finally adjusted the entry angle and braced for impact. The plane touched down in the Hudson at an almost perfect end. After sliding a bit, it came to a stop in the middle of the rib. I knew the danger wasn't away. I rushed to the cabin, instructed all passengers to put on life vests and evacuate quickly in order. Water quickly covered the wind. The plane could sink at any moment. The first officer was still shamed. Flight attendants ignored leg indy and jumped into evacuation duty. The front door opened. The escape chute deployed successfully. Both emergency exits also owed passengers. Stood on the wings waiting for rescue. Some jumped straight into the river trying to swim to shore, but they forgot this was freezing. New York temperatures were well below 10 degrees. I reminded everyone to wear their life vests and handed blankets to the kids trying to maximize their chances of survival in the cold. Luckily, the Coast Guard spotted us as air rescue was on the way too. Passengers evacuated the cabin safely. Boats came from all directs. The patrol boats held steady by the winds. Passengers were pulled aboard one by one, checked repeatedly to make sure no one was left behind before returning to the kite. We grabbed the flight data recorder and was the last to escape onto the life raft. Once ashore, the first thing I did was call my wife to let her know I was safe. The mayor and the police chief greeted me, but all I cared about was number 155. I had to make sure everyone on the plane survived, but at the time it was impossible to count everyone at the first officer. Strong insistence. I was taken to the hospital for chest that year when the Union president brought news. The huge weight pressing on my chest finally lifted.